It was a legend told through generations. As far back as can be remembered, there lived a malignant king who was the incarnation of evil itself. This king sought control over the known world through the omnipotent Triforce, three powerful relics created by the golden goddesses, so that he may make and unmake the world as he saw fit. Many times has this legend been told, and in many of those, this king of thieves fails in his quest. In some darker tales, however, the king succeeds in wielding the mighty Triforce and plunges the land in darkness. As he runs Hyrule over in monsters and fear, even he must succumb to the forces not meant for just one man, and changes into a giant pig man.
Hey, on today's episode of Let's Stitch, we're making Pig Ganon from The Legend of Zelda. We don't have a lot of time to waste, so let's get going.
Hey, Ben. Good seeing you, buddy.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
Just making a movie.
So to start out, I've got a black sock here. I'm going to cut from about half the foot down to the toe. This will be the inside of Ganon's head. Take a generous handful of stuffing and fill this piece up till it's good and round, and I'll close it up using the running stitch. This is just dipping the needle in and out through the fabric and all the way around, so that I can cinch the hole up so the piece resembles a ball. Now for the Pigskin. I picked this really cool pair of triangle socks from Target on clearance. They're the right palette. They've got little Triforce thingies sprinkled on them, and they were cheap. I love when I find perfect material for a doll. So I'm going to make the body out of the foot from beneath the heel, so I cut just below there. And as I did with the black sock, I want to stuff this piece nice and full. As I reached the top, I thought I might add a little fat double chin area at the top, and I achieved this by folding over the top fabric a little bit and using the running stitch to put a curved line along the front. After stuffing completely, I can go ahead and seal the top with a ladder stitch. A ladder stitch will bury that seam and keep the two sides locked together. Here's a bit of a complicated piece. I'm going to wrap the head in our triangle sock. Whoops. Let's turn it inside out. I want the cuff of the sock to sit just about halfway down the headpiece, and then I'll stitch it on there. Then, when I've gone the whole way around, I can flip this right side out. You can already see where this is going, I think. Pig Boy's got 4 tusks that I'll be building out of some white scrap. Doesn't have to be a sock, but I'm obviously going to be using sock scrap. I want a curved triangle shape out of this, like a tusk is shaped. And I'm going to try and build them a bit longer than I need. Stuffing the tusks, it's important to use smaller portions so the tiny points can get filled appropriately. I use a chopstick to get the finer details in there. The smaller tusks are, I don't know, a third of the size maybe, and I'm leaving them unstuffed at the end so I can stitch kind of wings onto the ends. These wings are what will fit into the mouth and get stitched in place, kind of like real teeth inside your gums. Gross. It's kind of tedious business and requires a lot of shifting and modeling, but when it's done, we're left with a really charming mouth. Of course, we can trim the excess sock from the back of the head. We'll be using that in a bit. For now, we can stitch the back of the head closed. I'm going to jump back to the mouth to shape the lips a bit further into a mischievous smile. Sometimes when sewing through the cuff you can snag the elastic, but you can just snip it off. Now you'll see that at several points I'm sewing over the outside in a sloppy way. That's because I know where my stitching is going to be concealed by other parts of the doll. So don't at me. Anyway, we're going to take that excess sock, flipped inside out, cut down the middle, lengthwise, and stitch the sides closed. Then flip them right side out again. I'm not going to stuff these because I want them to stay flat. Now before we attach these to the head, I'd like to build the rest of the facial features so I can map out my placement. So if I cut the cuff off, the elastic makes the fabric a bit more rigid and a good fit for the pig snoot. It's turned inside out, and after stitching this piece into a tube, I'm going to take a heart-shaped red piece and stitch it to one end of the tube. Then I can flip it right side out, fold the tube over itself to fit the proper length. This also saves me time from having to stuff it. Not that stuffing it would be a problem, I don't know, I like little cheats here and there. I'm a cheater. So now I can stitch the nose to the face while shaping it as I need to. This head is similar in construction to my Flea Man doll from a little while back, and if I were you, I don't know, maybe check that out. You wouldn't think that Flea Man would make a cute doll, but it do. A little top stitching with black thread helps that nose look more pig-like. And to give the head some extra curvature, it helps to pass the thread back and forth to pinch parts of the fabric together. The eyes are a super important part of a compelling doll, and I really spent half an hour with different looks before finding the right buttons. Some more pinching in the cheek area will sink the eyes so that I can set them kind of deep into the head. It's all about illusion. Of course, we need some eyebrows, and again we'll use the cuff of the sock, the rest of it, cut into two pieces and stitched up to create sort of roundish rectangles. Then we can attach these over top of the eyes. They really bring some personality to the face. Lastly, to complete the head, let's toss on the ears. Now, left to their own, the ears would just sort of stick out straight, so we need to tack them down at about the midpoint, just enough to hold them down to the side of the head. That was kind of a lot, but there's still more to go, obviously, so we want to take the rest of our sock and cut the foot off just below the heel. For symmetry purposes, I'm going to fold it this way, then flip it inside out and cut down the middle. And now this is important. We want to fold these halves in half and tuck the toe in so the top is M-shaped. Next, we'll stitch it up. Next, we'll stitch it up. We basically want to turn that M into a V, so we should leave the very middle untouched and stitch the sides together. If you open it up, it's sort of like a penis, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna stick some pins in this, basically to outline a glove, like a pitcher's mitt. So the thumb is obviously isolated further off from the rest of the digits. We're doing a 4-finger model over a 5. Now carefully stitch the lines in. Because I'm a dummy, I stitched using a thread that I couldn't see too well, so I had to cut very gingerly at this point. If I cut through the thread, I would basically have to start the stitch over. We don't want the old thread to lose its grip on the fabric. We'll do 2 more tubes like that, only I don't have any more toe parts, so we'll have to make a facsimile. we'll turn all of these right side out, stuff them, and stitch them to the body. And the body is all done. If you wanted, you could stop here. In fact, for today, I am going to stop here. We'll tackle some tailoring in the next video. So stay tuned, give a thumbs up for Pig Boys, and I'll see you next time.